Quinesla Biblioteca. Something was definitely off there. Hey everyone, it is Finn here and welcome back to my channel where today I've got some Spanish League content for you guys for once, some La Liga content, just mixing it up a tiny bit, because today I'll be telling you every La Liga team's best former player that is still playing football today, from Deportivo Alaves to Villarreal, who is their best former player still playing today, and of course, trying to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube this year, guys. I know I've been bothering you guys a lot about it lately, but once again, guys, it would really mean a lot to me if you subscribed. If you're not, it does help my dream come true. But you know what? Starting off on this list, we've got Deportivo Alaves with Theo Hernandez. Not a bad way to start off this list. Now, Theo Hernandez went out on loan to Deportivo Alaves in the 2016-17 season from Atletico Madrid, which for a 23-year-old left back, he's had a remarkable career. He's played for the French national team, Atletico Madrid, Real Sociedad, and now at AC Milan. And when he was at Real Madrid, he won almost everything there was to win: a Champions League, a Super Cup, and a Club World Cup, but unfortunately struggled to break into the first team over Marcelo. But ever since he's moved to AC Milan, the Italian league giants, he's really made a name for himself, winning their player of the season in the 2019-2020 season, and currently in the 2021 season, he is helping AC Milan top the Serie A table, 4 goals and 3 assists from a left back position. He is not doing bad, which, by the way, guys, if you want me to do the same video concept here with the Serie A, with the Italian league, then please like this video down below. If you get this video to 10 likes, I will do this with the Italian league, so make sure to do that. But as I said, AC Milan's Theo Hernandez, not a bad way to start off this video. Next up, we've got Atletico Bilbao with Emerick Laporte. Now, Emerick Laporte played for the Spanish team from 2012 to 2018, earning himself over 220 league appearances for the Spanish team and really nailing down a first team spot for them. Obviously, in La Liga, he really impressed the likes of Manchester City, who brought the French centre-back to the Premier League for £57 million, where ever since then, Emerick Laporte has really enjoyed his time in England, winning the domestic treble for Manchester City in his first season there, but unfortunately from time to time he has struggled with injury. But when Emerick Laporte is match fit, he is easily in the top 3 centre-backs in the Premier League at the moment, and unfortunately has never received an international call-up for France despite his amazing form in the Premier League. But talking about one Manchester City player to another, it is going to be Atletico Madrid, Sergio Aguero. Now, obviously Atletico Madrid are known for having some great players, so this was quite a tricky decision to make, because obviously you get the likes of Courtois, David De Gea, Griezmann, but I could not look away from Sergio Aguero, who, although has struggled with injury over the last season or two, will go down as a Manchester City, as a Premier League great. But people forgot that he had life before the Premier League. Obviously at Atletico Madrid, he played for them from 2006 to 2011, got 101 goals in over 230 appearances. He really made his name there, but it is at Manchester City where he has become a legend, as he is the top scoring foreign player in the Premier League of all time and the most hat-tricks in the Premier League of all time. Sergio Aguero will go down as a Premier League legend, and rightly deserved. Moving from one Spanish giant to another, from Atletico Madrid to Barcelona and Neymar Jr. Now, Barcelona being a world-class club, believe it or not, there were a few players I could have chosen from. This wasn't a totally easy decision, because you do have players like Luis Suarez or Ibrahimovic and many, many more. But at the end of the day, over the last 10 years in the world of football, people have said if it wasn't for Ronaldo or Messi, Neymar probably would have been the best player in the world, which you can't really totally deny that. Obviously, Neymar originally made a name for himself playing for Brazilian club Santos, which really earned himself a move to Barcelona, where he played for 4 amazing years in the world-renowned trio known as MSN: Messi, Suarez, Neymar. But in 2017, Neymar earned himself a big money move to PSG in France for a world record fee of £22 million. The most expensive player in the world. And let's be honest, My next 20 million generations of family could never ever dream of making that kind of money. But at the end of the day, Neymar is a world-class player, and you can tell that by the fact that you don't even have to watch football or know anything about football to know who Neymar is. That's how great he is. Obviously, he's won pretty much everything there is to win, and if it wasn't for Messi and Ronaldo, he probably would have won a Ballon d'Or. And even on an international level, he is Brazil's second top goal scorer of all time. Saying that, you can't really trust a Pele record anymore, can you? Now, from talking about a player who has succeeded at PSG, unfortunately it is time to talk about a player that has not, as it is going to be Lo Celso from Real Betis. Now, Lo Celso, the attacking midfielder from Argentina, did spend 3 years of his career at PSG, where he really struggled to fit into the squad. Because of that, he went out on a 1-year loan to Real Betis, the La Liga side, where there he really impressed the La Liga team enough to earn himself a permanent deal. But unfortunately for Real Betis, they were not the only team impressed by him, and therefore Tottenham Hotspurs came in and swooped a deal for the attacking midfielder, where Lo Celso now is today in the Premier League for Tottenham Hotspurs. And for an attacking midfielder, his numbers aren't great when it comes to goals and assists, but on his day is one of the hardest working players in that Spurs midfield. Now going on to the next team, it is going to be Cadiz. Sorry, I don't really know how to pronounce it, a newly promoted team into La Liga, and the player I've got is Suso. Now the problem with this is I have tried to choose players that have played for every La Liga team's senior team, but unfortunately I couldn't really find anyone for Cadiz, so I have gone for Suso, who did play for their youth academy, and from there he did go into Liverpool's youth academy, but unfortunately only got 14 senior appearances for Liverpool, went out on multiple loans and eventually ended up at AC Milan, where he spent 5 years of his career, where he did win the Super Coppa Italia, but bar that, really still struggled to make a name for himself. Went out on a few more loans to the likes of Genoa and Sevilla, funnily enough, was impressed enough to buy the Spanish winger, where he did help Sevilla win the Europa League last season. Now, Suso is not a world-class player, but you have to admit he has had a pretty good career over. So we've just spoken about a Spanish player who probably wasn't one of the best of all time, but the next Spanish player definitely could be, as it is going to be Celta Vigo David Silva. Now, David Silva is an absolute legend of the game. He spent the first 6 years of his career in La Liga playing for Valencia, where in one of those seasons in 2005-2006, he was out on a year-long loan at Celta Vigo. But obviously what David Silva is known for is to be a Premier League legend, one of the Premier League's best midfielders of all time, playing for Manchester City for 10 years between 2010 to 2020, getting over 400 appearances for the Blues, getting 2 FA Cups, 5 League Cups and 4 Premier Leagues. And even on an international level, 2 Euros and 1 World Cup, David Silva might be one of the best players of all time, or at least one of the best midfielders of all times. And along with Sergio Aguero, probably goes down as Manchester City's best player of all times. I think David Silva is one of those players any club would be happy to have. And the fact that he has just moved to Real Sociedad for free is an absolute bargain, helping Real Sociedad at points this season get to first place on the La Liga table. At 34 years old, David Silva is still going strong. But now talking about our next team, it is going to be Eibar, and guys, I might be cheating a tiny bit, but it is David Silva again. And I don't know if you guys necessarily want this, but I'm not going to name all of David Silva's statistics once again. But he did go out on loan to Eibar in the 2004-2005 season, which just proves how long he has been around. We now have another Spanish midfielder, which, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, talking about Spanish teams, you might just see quite a few Spanish players on this list, by the way. But as I said, next up from Elche, we've got Fabian Ruiz, which in 2017 he went out on a 1-year loan to Elche from Real Betis, where at Real Betis themselves in 2014-15, Fabian helped Real Betis reach promotion into La Liga from the second tier of Spanish football. But after that, he, as I said, 2017, he was loaned out to Elche, who just got relegated, and unfortunately he could not help them get promoted once again. But once he returned to Real Betis, he really was hitting top form and helped Real Betis reach a Europa League spot. And because of that, in 2018, he earned himself a big move to the likes of Napoli in Italy, where he has had over 70 appearances for them now in the midfield position. 24 years old, has had quite a few international appearances for Spain. That is not bad overall. But talking about not bad, our next player from Getafe, Emiliano Martinez. Now that is a player who is not bad. Obviously, another player from Getafe I could have mentioned would have been Morata, obviously at Juventus now, but unfortunately Morata only played for them at academy level. And as I said, I wanted to mention as many senior players as possible. And another honorable mention I could have mentioned was Gaita from Crystal Palace. But at the end of the day, due to what he's done in the last year or two, Emiliano Martinez. Now, Emiliano Martinez spent 8 years of his career at Arsenal, where he went out on 6 different loan moves and only ended up having 15 appearances for Arsenal, unfortunately. And luckily for him, towards the end of last season, Bernd Leno, Arsenal's main goalkeeper, did pick up an injury, giving Martinez quite a bit of game time, where he helped Arsenal pick up 2 trophies. And because of that, because he was not their first choice keeper anymore, he did earn himself a £20 million move to Aston Villa, where this season alone he has already had more appearances for Aston Villa than he has for Arsenal, and he is currently the top clean sheet holder in the Premier League with 8 clean sheets. For £20 million, that's not bad. So I think it's safe to say that Martinez's transfer in the Premier League this season can be counted as a huge success, and the same goes for our next player, as it is going to be from Granada, Decore, which, by the way, if you just say that in one sentence, it just sounds like a really fancy long name. But Decore in 2016 was loaned out to Granada from Watford, which, as a holding midfielder, he obviously really impressed at Granada, because once he returned back to the Premier League, to Watford, he really earned himself a constant first team spot and is probably one of the most consistently played players at Watford. He's really deep-lying defensive midfielder, does a solid job there, and at times can even play as an attacking midfielder, and even helped Watford reach an FA Cup final. But unfortunately in 2019-2020, Watford was relegated. But at that point, Decore built himself enough of a name in order to be signed by Ancelotti's Everton, which, let's be honest, if Ancelotti thinks you're good enough, it means you are good enough. Well done, Decore. But looking at our next player, we'll now look at a player from Huesca. I'm sorry, I really can't pronounce some of these names, but it is going to be Ruben Semedo, who in 18-19 was loaned out to the likes of Huesca, which, by the way, I see lots of these players are only loaned out to clubs, which is just proof that maybe La Liga is the perfect place to grow players. But the reason I've got a player like Semedo in the squad is because, well, there were no really good players from Huesca, but in terms of a player, a solid centre-back, a Portuguese international, currently playing at Olympiacos, won the Greek Super Cup last season, and playing for Olympiacos, he gets regular Champions League football. So at the end of the day, not a bad player to mention. And once again, talking about a player that is definitely not bad to mention, it is going to be Kalo Navas, who at Levante spent 3 years, from 2011 to 2014, as their goalkeeper, and of course earned himself a big move to Real Madrid from Levante. Obviously, he was very impressive at Levante in the Liga itself, but in 2014, he really helped his Costa Rica team do super well in the World Cup, and that earned him a move to Real Madrid, where he pretty much won everything under the sun. He won La Liga titles, he won Champions League, Super Cups, Club World Cups. He won pretty much everything, and probably should go down as one of the most underrated goalkeepers of the past decade. He has also recently moved to PSG, which, since he's moved to PSG, he's won 3 trophies and gotten to 1 Champions League final. Kalo Navas is a fantastic goalkeeper and really should probably go down in Levante's history. It is now time for us to talk about an unsung hero of La Liga, as it is going to be Osasuna Raul Garcia, who spent his youth career at Osasuna, then his senior career from 2004 to 2007 playing for Osasuna, and obviously he played as an attacker slash midfielder at the time, and he earned himself a big move to Atletico Madrid, where he spent 8 years of his career and over 400 games in total. He won pretty much everything there was to win for Atletico Madrid: Europa League, 2 Super Cups, a La Liga title, and even played in a Champions League final. And as of 2015, he has been playing for Atletico Bilbao. I think he's had an incredible career overall, now in his mid-30s, and is totally an unsung hero of La Liga. But saying that, our next player is someone definitely recognized by most, as it is going to be Real Sociedad's Antoine Griezmann. Now, anyone in football knows who Griezmann is at this point. Obviously, he hasn't been that good for Barcelona since leaving Atletico Madrid, but at Real Sociedad, he helped them gain promotion into La Liga. He spent 9 years there in total, including his youth career from 2005 to 2014. But once he moved to Atletico Madrid, he broke pretty much every record there was to break. He literally is a 5th top scorer of all time. He got 2016 Best La Liga Player of the Season, which in a league which at the time had Messi and Ronaldo and Neymar, that is not bad overall. For France, he's won the World Cup. He got France to a Euro final and was the top scorer in the competition. He's been in the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or. Antoine Griezmann has won almost everything there is to win except for a league title at the top flight, funnily enough. But you know what? At the end of the day, Antoine Griezmann is a world-class player. Hasn't been great over the last year or two, but definitely probably goes down as Real Sociedad's best ever former player. Next up, we have a player that needs no introduction, but I should probably still give you one. It is going to be Real Madrid's Cristiano Ronaldo. Now look, there was no competition in who should be on this list, as Ronaldo, along with Messi, probably goes down as one of the best players of all time. Spent 9 years at Real Madrid, won everything there was to win there. Wherever Ronaldo goes, he wins. He's won Premier League titles, La Liga titles, Serie A titles at Juventus, has won 5 Champions Leagues and won 3 in a row at Real Madrid. Probably one of their best ever players at Real Madrid, and it broke so many people's hearts when he moved to Juventus. But as I said, no competition for the spot, because along with that, I mean, he was also captain of Portugal when they won their first ever international trophy. He was voted as the player of the century last year, and he's got 5 Ballon d'Ors. Once again, I don't think there are many players that would beat him on this list for Real Madrid, and will definitely go down as Real Madrid's maybe best ever player. But you know what, going from one living legend to another, we've got Real Valladolid's Kepa Arrizabalaga. Now obviously I'm joking to an extent, but in terms of former players, out of what I could find, obviously you guys can tell me if you find any names for any of these teams that I missed, but obviously for Real Valladolid, Kepa Arrizabalaga is probably one of the biggest names on that list. 4 years ago, he did go out on loan to Real Valladolid from Atletico Bilbao, but people seem to forget. Obviously, people joke about Kepa nowadays, but he hasn't always been a bad goalkeeper. He was brilliant in La Liga for Bilbao, earned himself a huge move to Chelsea, became the most expensive goalkeeper of all time. He did win 2 trophies at Chelsea, would have won a 3rd in the EFL Cup final, but unfortunately, that is where his name was made, as he refused to be subbed off, and because of that, Chelsea lost the game, and ever since then he has been dubbed a flop. And it doesn't help his case that in the 2019-2020 season he got the worst goalkeeper record of all time in the Premier League. Out of 200 to 300 goalkeepers, that is not a stat you want, and because of that, Chelsea have signed the likes of Mendy, who is having a great goalkeeper campaign so far this season. So I do feel sorry for Kepa, but as I said, probably Valladolid's best ever former player. But you know what? Kepa is still 26 years old, and maybe he can turn his career around. I don't know. I want you guys to tell me in the comment section down below. Do you think Kepa can be good once more? Next up, I have Sevilla's Sergio Ramos, and it is so weird to think of a time before Sergio Ramos was at Real Madrid, but obviously before he was, from 1996 till 2003, he was in Sevilla's youth academy, and from 2003 to 2005, he represented Sevilla on a senior level, and nowadays he's one of the best defenders of all time, because ever since 2005 he's played for Real Madrid and has over 500 appearances in all competitions and is the top scoring defender of all time in La Liga. At the end of the day, I think Ramos could go down as one of the best defenders of all time, not just in the Liga, but along with Maldini, one of the best defenders of all time. Over 22 major trophies with Real Madrid, has won multiple Euros, has won a World Cup, one of the best players we have ever seen. And I think he's also just living proof that a beard really can help some people in their situation. But you know what? At the end of the day, a living Spanish legend. Which, talking about living Spanish legends, the next club is going to be Valencia. Guy, I don't know what to say. It's going to be Silva again. From 2010 from 2000 till 2010, David Silva did play for Valencia from youth academy to senior level. Once again, I'm not going to name all the stats. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached our final team and player on this list, which, by the way, guys, this took a lot of research to do this video, so I'd really appreciate it if you like the video down below for my efforts. I would appreciate it. But final team is going to be Villarreal, Santi Cazorla. And Santi Cazorla, once again, like many of these players, another living legend. Spent 3 different spells at Villarreal from 2003 to 2006, from 2007 till 2011, and finally 2018 to 2020. Santi Cazorla is not just one of their best former players. He might be in their top 3 best players of all time. He was fantastic for Villarreal. He was fantastic when he played at Arsenal. He was Arsenal's player of the year when he was there. He was known for the amount of assists and attacking opportunities he created as a deep lying playmaker, even for the Spanish national team. As I said, Spanish player of the year, 1 Euros, 1 World Cups. And to think for the Spanish national team, there was a stage where they had David Silva, Iniesta, Xavi Alonso, and Santi Cazorla, and many other players. That is insane to think about. But Santi Cazorla, one of the most underrated players of all time. And obviously at his time at Arsenal, I mean, he got 12 goals and 14 assists in his first season there. He did struggle with leg injury, and he got an infection in his Achilles tendons, and doctors told him it's not that he just might never play football again, but he almost lost his leg. But you know what? He came back to Villarreal stronger than ever, and in his final season there, got 11 goals, 9 assists. He left as a living legend and is now currently playing in the Qatarian League for Al Said. I think that's how you pronounce it. And so far this season, 8 goals, 8 assists in 12 games. What a player, and what a player to end off this list. Once again, guys, as I did say, if you have enjoyed this video, hit the like button down below. Tell me if you want me to do any other of the top 5 leagues. I have done this with the Premier League beforehand. But guys, as I said, I hope you have a fantastic day. I do love and appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Have an awesome one. Finn. Cheers.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can